taking over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall, coast to coast.
All right, we're back in New Orleans at Radio Row. A couple things. Make sure you get the SportsGrid app on iOS or Android in the Play Store. You're going to love it. You can watch the network, listen to the network, follow your favorite host. There's even in-game odds. You'll love it. The SportsGrid app on iOS and on Android. Hey, did you know we're streaming on X? That's right. Just go to SportsGrid-Live, and you can watch us on X 7 days per. That would be 7 days per week, every day, always. Styling. Hey, you can get the Ferrall Coast to Coast and Ferrall on the Bench podcasts on iTunes every day, Monday through Friday. 3 hours of Coast to Coast. Wow. And how about Ferrall on the Bench? It's a short run through sports of everything that happened that night and what's going to happen tonight. Every day in sports. It's the C2C and Ferrall on the Bench podcast on iTunes. All right, we continue on from Radio Row. And by the way, Carver High, they're having a huge media party tonight here in New Orleans. And that's when all the herd of cattle get together and have free booze and free food. And I will go to an expensive restaurant and eat expensive Creole and fish, and I will drink heavily with others than to go to that event.
Where are they having that?
I'd rather hang out with cool.
Where are they having that?
Someplace I think called Mardi Gras or something. Some big Mardi Gras place. Anyway, all I know is that I will have more fun. I am going out with cooler people. I do not hang out with media types. I mean, that's just all there is to it, son.
That place will be crawling. If you thought last night was bad, you check out that media party tonight. You really won't be able to move in that place. As everybody tries to get
freeloaders.
All the freeloaders will be there. All right, let's get to tonight's games in the NBA. We'll start in Philly, where we told you earlier Dallas and the Sixers did make a trade today, that Caleb Martin for Quentin Grimes trade. Neither of them will be in the lineup. I mean, why the hell not? They were both there. They're both in the building. Just switch locker rooms. Who cares? Neither are playing. Sixers minus 4.5. 228.5 is the total this evening in Philadelphia.
So let me get this straight. So is Davis playing? Is he going to play?
No Davis tonight. Davis is not ready to play. Not in there.
I really don't understand that. What did he get tired flying 2 hours from LA to Dallas?
Remember, he got hurt last week.
Oh, he had the ab strain.
For the Lakers, and he had the ab strain, so he's not quite back from that yet.
I still like Dallas in this game. If the entire Dallas team is not playing and there's no more Luka Doncic and they have absolutely no one on their roster, I'm taking Dallas and laying the 4. Taking the 4. They're getting 4. And they're giving me points. I'll take the team with no players getting 4. And I'll hit the bet. Watch.
One of the good ones tonight, the Celtics are in Cleveland against the Cavs. Celtics actually minus 1.5 on the road, 238.5 the total.
Yeah, I'll take the Cavs in the land of the Rocket getting 1.5. They were laying 1 an hour ago. This one's on TNT. Somewhere, somehow, I'm going to catch some of this game tonight for certain. And I just love the way they play and shoot the ball. I like what Spider does. I like what Garland does. I like what Mobley does. I like what Allen does. I like what, they get it all going. I mean, what guy, all the three-point shooters, even your boy Strus. I mean, they all just pound it. I mean, they can score. They can play with anybody. I think they can beat Boston. I mean, I know Boston can go in there and win. But, seriously, I think Boston was, last year, obviously, they won it all. I thought they were better last year than they are now.
The Rockets, after that tough loss at the Garden to the Knicks last night, they crossed the river, and they will see the Nets in Brooklyn. Rockets minus 9.5, 211.5 the total.
Yeah, I think Houston's going to pound the Nets tonight at no sleep till. They're going to pound them. They had that game, I thought, at the Garden, and they blew it. And the Knicks rally capped and beat them. And I think that tonight they're not going to have that same fortune. They're going to take it out on the Nets. Give me Houston.
The Knicks, of course, after winning last night, they will go to Toronto, where they will see the Raptors. The Raptors have been one of the hotter teams in the league now, Scotty. They have now won 5 of their last 6, playing some pretty good ball. Knicks minus 5.5, 228.5 the total.
Right, I think the Knicks have been playing. They've had this home stretch, right, where they were playing so well, and then they beat the Rockets, and I think they've been kind of on a tear if you really look at it. Remember, at the end of January, they beat the Hawks, they beat the Nets, they beat the Kings, the Grizzlies, the Nuggets, and then they got into February and they lose to the Lakers at home. Then they beat the Rockets. I say they go up there and the Raptors cover the 5.5. So I think that last night took its toll on them. They had to travel, go play this team that's hot, that's winning, that's 5 of 6, that covers all the time. If the Knicks win that game, they're going to be lucky. It'll be within that 5 and a hook. Give me the 5 and a hook and the Raps.
The Heat are in Chicago against the Bulls tonight. Heat minus 3.5 on the road, 229.5 the total.
Yeah, I actually think that they can win this game tonight based on the Heat because Chicago is, as you said, pulling up the studs and getting rid of everyone, right? So I'm going to guess. I think Miami gets it done. I think Butler's left bloodletting down in Miami, but Chicago's worse to me. Levine was scoring 24 a game. I like Levine, what he's done all year. I think he's been incredible, and now he's gone. So I think they're naked without him. Give me Miami tonight on the streets in the Windy City on the west side.
Yep.
There you go. And the Lakers and the Clippers tonight at the Intuit, as you mentioned, minus 8.5 for the Clippers, 220.5 is the total on that one.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems to me like that number's a little fat for me. You know what I mean? I kind of feel like it's too many points.
Yeah, I got it.
I think that game's going to be better than that, to be honest with you. I'll take the number and the Lakers cover, and I'll bet the Hillbilly Mamba has a good game tonight. LeBron and Reeves go off. I think they can cover that number. And then in that Indy game with Portland, I'm going to take the Blazers in the Moda because, they've been doing it to everybody every night. It's every night they've been killing them. So, all right. Tom Pelissero's here from the NFL Network. We got you in. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you. I know you've been busy. How hectic has this been for you going around this? This is a zoo, this place.
It is. You remember the year they let the fans in for the first time?
That was a mistake.
That was a lot. I understand they're trying to make everything accessible to the public, but that was the year where it was everywhere you walked, it was just people blocking you and taking photos and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so bad.
I actually don't think that, they let every Tom, Dick, and Harry into that media night. Did you see the guy with the Aladdin guy with the Make-A-Wish last night? I really wanted someone to shoot him. Honestly,
there was some guy with a hangover style baby strapped to his chest, but it wasn't a real baby.
Remember the year the girl showed up with a wedding dress, wanted to marry everybody?
Oh, yeah.
I just honestly I can't have it.
I feel like there's actually less of that. I feel like because that's so streamlined into our culture now with social media and stuff, there's no shock value in it.
I know, I just kind of want to interview the players and not get punched in the face while I'm doing it. You know what I mean? And obviously, I have a minute, but I want you to stick around for a second, for a couple of minutes, and we can talk a little football here. I can't talk to you for a minute. It's frustrating for me. So last night, I did interview a bunch of players and got it done. But I have to tell you, I felt like a steer. I felt like I was on Yellowstone. I was sweating, and I had a sport coat on, and I'm 6'4", 240, and I was dripping wet. I've had open heart surgery. I thought I was having a stroke. I thought I was in a movie. It wasn't happening.
Let's say you did. Does anybody help you in that setting?
No one helped me.
You're down, and it's just the show goes on. It's like the running of the bulls.
They would have
get the hell out of the way.
They would have let me die, and they would have stomped on me and walked on me, and maybe someone even would have interviewed me. We'll come back with Tom Pelissero. We'll talk about the insiders. We'll talk about Sunday's game. We got it all going from Radio Row in Nolens. don't tell anybody. I'm sick of coming here every year and talking about the Kansas City Chiefs.
Look, remember a few years ago we were here, people saying, Andy Reid's going to retire. I'm like, no way. When you're riding Seabiscuit, Secretariat, when you're riding a horse that you know can win, who would jump off that?
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
You want me to solve all this tush-push and fourth down malarkey that goes on with the officials? Here's a crazy idea. Get rid of the worst rule in the NFL, and that is forward progress. How about this? Where I knock your ass in the ground is where the ball goes, period. Let's end this whole conversation. Like, if I drop you back 4 yards, then you lost 4 yards. If we get rid of forward progress, this tush-push and everything else is taken care of. Where I put your tail on the ground is where the ball goes. End of conversation. It's the dumbest rule and the most arbitrary rule. The only thing that is a worse call in the NFL than forward progress is the punt that goes out of bounds when you watch the official walk down the sideline having absolutely no clue where that ball crossed over. All I can think of is that Price is Right game go do-de-do-de-do, do-de-do-de-do, as he's walking down the sideline, arbitrarily trying to figure out where the ball crossed over because he's got no clue.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
So, Tom Pelissero's here. First of all, your show, The Insiders, is great. Every night, 7 East, and you're doing all kinds of coverage here from the Super Bowl. You look better than me. Your suit's fantastic. You got, I think those are almost like skinny pants. They look fantastic. I have jeans on. I look awful.
No, you look fantastic, and you're only being shown from here up.
But, I play a lot of basketball. I'm a big boy, and I'm very uncomfortable. I even said to him yesterday, I want to stand. I want to do half the segment standing. I don't want to sit for 3 hours. Let me stand. And then you come along looking like $1 million. He's got a great head of hair, and he's showing me up. And the golf betting guys, Stewie and Carver High, we're stepping on the money-making segment here. Who do you like Sunday?
I think that everything objective criteria would tell you it's the Eagles. Just the way they control the line of scrimmage.
That's the way I think.
Saquon's going.
Then I always lose.
Weapons the pass game. The Chiefs have Patrick Mahomes. And that's it. I know that's an oversimplification. It's hard, man. It's hard to bet against those guys.
How's the show going?
Show's been fantastic. We had also an 8.5-hour pregame show on Sunday on NFL Network. We'll be live from a garage attached to the Superdome out there in the middle of a party, which should be
that is the greatest. Listen, I just want to say your show's awesome, and I think the NFL Network Sunday morning show with the guys, with Mooch and everybody, I think it's the best show in football on television, bar none. I think it's a ton
of fun.
I think it stomps every network, every show. It stomps them.
I appreciate it. It's fun
really
being on that show, and it's Super Bowl, so you know they're going to pull out some stops. A couple years ago was Mooch eating a bunch of wings,
right?
Then chugging a gallon of milk on live TV. I don't know what it's going to be.
And then they got McCoy now, right? He's on
Gerald
there.
McCoy's in there.
And
Kurt
Warner.
in there.
It's fantastic. I think it's a fantastic show.
They do a great job.
And I think Rich is really funny. You know what's funny? Because I got early Alzheimer's. I call it early for Alzheimer's. You remembered meeting me. Where did you meet me?
You were sitting there on a park bench on the Thursday of Super Bowl week 2 years ago while Brian Dable was sitting next to you in a sweatsuit smoking a cigar. And I was telling Dable, you should go like that to NFL honors. You're going to win Coach of the Year. Show up exactly like this. He didn't listen. He wore a suit. He still won.
You know what's funny about that is that today, just an hour ago, I said to the kid Hyatt, the receiver on the Giants, I go, I knew your coach when he was fat and fun. And he was like, he ate food, and he was fat and fun and smoked cigars and was cool. And ever since, he's skinny, eats salads, and loses.
Hey, the cigars will be back. You just got to have a reason to smoke them.
The kid didn't know what to think when I said it to him. Meanwhile, he's got a deal with Hyatt Hotels. He's loving life. Like, who cares about winning when you got a deal with Hyatt Hotels? Tom, it's great to see you. Thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate it and putting up with me. I know I'm painful. I got to send it back. These guys, listen, here's a tip for you, just so you know. In your free time, if you need, I'll text you. These guys, this guy Stewie and this guy Carver High, they make about 100 G's a year each golf betting. They got, like, their television careers are meaningless. They don't make any money. They hate their jobs. But when they bet on golf, these guys are millionaires. That guy on the right, he's a fascist. He makes so much money betting, that Stewie guy. He's got a show called Read the Line. These guys are evil. I'm going to send you their golf bets. You'll be rich in 2 months.
Can we get Carver a shirt that closes on the top?
No. He's Ed Asner from Mary Tyler Moore. Doesn't he look?
This is how we do it,
He's Ed
Tom.
Asner. Come on.
Come on, Tom. We don't tighten it up here. All right, here we go. Keith Stewart, Read the Line, is with us, of course. It's not Wednesday. It's Tuesday. Keith is at the Waste Management, TPC Scottsdale. Let's go, baby. Keith, we got to get right into it. Number one, TGL tonight. We have got Boston and Los Angeles. Who do you got?
I've got L.A. I know everyone's going to say that Rory won, but I think when it comes down to it, it's a very even matchup. I think Captain Keegan lets us down. He's going up against Justin Rose, who was really sharp this week. I think top to bottom, LAGC gets it done.
Speaking of Boston, Rory, what a weekend for him at Pebble Beach. He talked about how the historic courses, doing well, playing well with them. It's great for the tour. We saw ratings up this weekend. Great win for Rory at Pebble Beach over the weekend.
Rory was talking when they put a microphone in front of him. That never happens. But you know what? Hey, congratulations to him. You know, in the mess that I walked around in on Saturday where it was blowing 25 and, it was like I thought Noah was going to come up and start pairing animals at some point. It was a lot going on. And he went out and shot 65, he and Shane Lowry. I mean, the two of them, to them, that was like a spring day in Ireland. But you know what? They both played fantastic. And, hey, we need someone to challenge Scotty. And I know Rory's not here this week at, WM Phoenix Open, but a Rory running on all engines can definitely give Scotty a run for his money.
All right, let's get to that because I'm going to talk to you about some of these numbers. I mean, Scotty, 280, 330, I saw at one place, 280. I mean, you got to be kidding me. First thing out of the gate, as I always like to ask you, do we have any problems at the Waste Management this week? Is we're going to get some of the cold mornings, the frost, the wind, anything that we saw last year? How's the weather?
Well, what a difference a year makes. And here, you don't have to take your heart medicine this week. Everything is going to be fine. They've had near drought conditions here for almost 6 months. So the place is firm. It's fast. It's exactly the way the agronomists want the place to play. Tournament committee's very happy. If anything, the lies are going to be even tighter than usual because it's been so warm during the overseed season that they haven't got all the grass to grow in. So the guys chipping are going to feel just a little more anxious when it comes down to it on Sunday afternoon off some of these lies. But overall, no weather issues, not a ton of wind. It's right now. I mean, I'm sitting out here outside. It's perfect golf weather. It's 80 degrees. It's sunny, and everyone's having a great day here at the Waste Management.
We will talk about some of your guys on your card after the break, but what are we doing with Scotty here? He was good last week, but 280, Keith? You got to be kidding me.
All right, I got 3 options for you real quick. Number one is that we could always live bet Scotty. We talked about it last week. He got up to plus 900 in the weekend, and he didn't get the double digits, so I didn't hit him. As it turns out, that's fine. But he did lead the field in strokes gained approach, which doesn't bode well for this week. But the second option is that I like the look and the number. It's about 12-1, 11-1 to bet Scotty to be your third round leader. So if you're looking for him on Saturday night to kind of set himself apart over the first 54 holes, you don't just get 18 holes. You're going to get 3 rounds. You can get over 10-1 at some of the books. That's an option. And my third option, we're going back to the Corda Bank. All right. She's playing at a place where she's very, very comfortable this week. Nelly Corda, number 1 in the world. She's plus 450. All right, Carver. We know that Scotty's number is going to sit around plus 250. You put the two of them together, they both win this weekend. You're going to get close to 20-1. That is really, those 3 options are all I have for you because I am not going single bullet on Scotty at plus 250 or whatever the number is going to be. We're not. We got better options than that.
She almost stormed back and won last week in Orlando. Almost got it done. We'll get Keith's card for the Waste Management next, coast to coast, on the grid after this.
But don't tell anybody. I'm sick of coming here every year and talking about the Kansas City Chiefs.
Look, remember a few years ago we were here, people saying, Andy Reid's going to retire. I'm like, no way. When you're riding Seabiscuit, Secretariat, when you're riding a horse that you know can win, who would jump off that?
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
You want me to solve all this tush-push and fourth down malarkey that goes on with the officials? Here's a crazy idea. Get rid of the worst rule in the NFL, and that is forward progress. How about this? Where I knock your ass in the ground is where the ball goes, period. Let's end this whole conversation. Like, if I drop you back 4 yards, then you lost 4 yards. If we get rid of forward progress, this tush-push and everything else is taken care of. Where I put your tail on the ground is where the ball goes. End of conversation. It's the dumbest rule and the most arbitrary rule. The only thing that is a worse call in the NFL than forward progress is the punt that goes out of bounds when you watch the official walk down the sideline having absolutely no clue where that ball crossed over. All I can think of is that Price is Right game go do-de-do-de-do, do-de-do-de-do, as he's walking down the sideline, arbitrarily trying to figure out where the ball crossed over because he's got no clue.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
And we are back, Ferrall, Coast to Coast, here on a Tuesday. Carver High with you. We're going to get back to Scotty down in New Orleans Super Bowl week in a little bit, but you knew we were going to squeeze the golf in at some point this week. Keith Stewart from Read the Line is at the Waste Management out in Arizona as we get ready for this week, and we're doing this on Tuesday instead of Wednesday, but we still got to get it in. All right, Keith, let's do some outrights for you. And look, we know that some big names have won this event in the past, but we've also had some long shots like Nick Taylor, who's our defending champion, here this year. You have some lengthier choices on your list as well this week.
Well, I'll tell you what, Carver, real quick, I have to tell you this because you love this stuff. Here's the trend of the week. There's 19 guys that can win the WM Phoenix Open, and here's why. 9 of the last 10 winners have finished top 7 prior to winning in this tournament. And the second thing is that 13 of the 14 most recent winners have finished top 10 in one of their previous 5 starts. You take those two trends and you put them together, you come up with 19 names. And each of my guys are on that list because, hey, this is the 3rd most predictive course on the PGA Tour. First guy near the bottom of the board, plus 2,200, I'm going Sung J M. In 4 starts this year, he has 2 top 4s, and he's 49 under par in those 4 starts. The second guy, Billy Horschel, 66-1. Billy Ho, he loves Showtime. He loves TGL. He loves the arena on 16. Well, guess what? He's made 10 straight cuts here. He'd be a good one-and-done pick this week, right? Against the cut field. And he plays good at Memorial. Great comp course for TPC Scottsdale. And last week, he was great in the bad weather, good on approach, and good with the putter, which is a recipe for success here. And the last one, we need a bomb, right? 90-1, plus 9,000. Andrew Novak, yes. He fills both those criteria. He was T8 last year here. Remember, he opened up with about 130. He was like 65-65. Everybody's like, who is this guy? Well, he bangs the ball off the tee, and he can score in the desert. And then, guess what? He was 3rd at the Farmers a couple weeks ago, and he backed that up with a 13th in the signature field there at Pebble Beach.
Little Novocaine on the card this week. We love it. Andrew Novak, got to have it. Some good bombs there. Placements. We do have a bunch of guys who have played very well here in the past and have played very well recently. Man, I thought Seppi had a chance to do it again at Pebble this past weekend. Straka's been on fire, Keith.
Straka has been absolutely on fire, and I'm throwing him in as a top 20. He's got 4 top 15s in his last 5 starts. I mean, that qualifies, right? He's back in the desert where he won less than a month ago. He feels good, plus 175 for a top 20. My other top 20, how do you not play Nick Taylor here? He's already won this year. He's the defending champion. And the year before that, he was the runner-up. You could get over 2-1 on him to finish top 20 with 20 places. Nick Taylor, everyone says this guy's a dog. The guy owns a kennel up in Canada. You kidding me? This guy's totally a closer. Give him 20 places and the 2-1. Hey, top 10 JT. Everyone loves the course history here. I don't think he can win, but I'll take the 10 places, and I'll go plus 150 on him. In 10 starts, he's got 4 top 10s. And then further down the board, top 40. I mean, my kid's 529 is going to be called Lee Hodges. I mean, this guy every single week, 6 straight top 35s. We're betting him top 40. Of course we are at plus 125. Nicky Dunlop back in the desert where he won a year ago. I've seen some nice things up there at Pebble Beach. I like where he's at with his approach game and with his putter. And then the last one, Jake Knapp, baby. Right now, he played pretty well last week in Pebble. And this is the type of place, much like Mexico last year, a top 40 at plus 225. He was doing things last week at Pebble that didn't really fit, but they fit perfect here. I love the flowing locks. I love myself a little nap time come Sunday afternoon when he cashes that top 40.
Jake afternoon nap on the card this week for Stewie. And I know, listen, we rushed it this week. You don't have the head-to-heads for it, but I'm sure tomorrow all the newsletter readers maybe will find somebody against Jordan Spieth at some point in the head-to-heads. I'm sure we're going to go after Jordan at some point this week at the Waste Management.
I got to tell you this one, Carver, right? 2 things. 1, he's testing putters. Shocker. Number 2, all right. Last year, Jordan Spieth, if you're thinking about playing Jordan Spieth in your DFS lineup or betting him this week, just know this. Last year, he finished here T6, okay? That's the last time he finished within 12 strokes of the lead of any tournament he's played in the last calendar year. 12 strokes, Carver. Okay, a full year. Jordan hasn't been within a dozen.
That's wild. Last thing before you go, anyone else for the ladies at the Founders besides Nelly that maybe throw us a name besides Nelly at the Founders?
Well, I tell you what, that place down there, Bradenton Country Club, it's all about accuracy off the tee. So I love myself to come back with maybe a little Minjee Lee. She finished with 62 on Sunday over there. I mean, she's playing well, and she has a new long putter.
Keith Stewart, read the line from the Waste Management. Let's cash the business, baby.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
lot of humanity, Carver High. I'm at Radio Row in Nolens, and you and Stewie just went off on golf. It was awesome. I was listening. I was writing down as fast as I could all of the bets that I needed to make for the Garbage Open down there in the desert. What a party that is. I mean, it's like Bourbon Street on a golf course. Think about it.
It is like Bourbon Street on a golf course. I'll, of course, at some point tomorrow, give you my picks for the Waste Management before we get out of Dodge tomorrow, before the tournament starts Thursday. So we will get those.
God.
I got to finalize those tonight and make sure that we have everything all good to go. All right, we have a lot to do here. I had some things from that. You saw enough of that media night last night that we don't have to go there. Roger Goodell talked to the media yesterday. He says the idea that NFL officials favor the Chiefs is, quote, ridiculous. It's ridiculous that the NFL officials favor the Chiefs. So Roger wanted to make sure you knew that before Sunday, that's a complete nonsense situation with the refs.
Too bad nobody believes him. I mean, honestly, like fans have turned on the NFL and Roger Goodell. They think that it's true. And then the other thing that's crazy about it is you see last night Kelsey was getting all worked up about it. He was like basically blaming the media, saying, why do you guys get caught up in it? Why do you guys sell it?
You brought it up, so we'll play it quick. Luke, go back to Kelsey. I do have Kelsey saying that last night at media. Here he is when that was brought up.
If I could ask the media one question, why are you guys leaning into this whole ref thing? You know what I mean? Like, why are you guys leaning into it?
Yeah,
that's all I got.
Why are we leaning into it? Yeah, why do you think we're leaning into it? I wonder why. Why do you think we're leaning into it?
Yeah, because they do get every call. That's why.
They get every call. You're just going to have to accept
It's unbelievable. I have never seen a quarterback in my life get more roughing the passer penalty flags thrown for his team than this guy. He's like he's winning Academy Awards, and then he flops like no one else. So, you know how I feel about him. I'm not going to sit here and get a migraine headache over Patrick Mahomes this week. I really am not. I'm in the Uber, right, coming over here. First of all, just so we're clear, I'm not walking 2 miles anywhere. So I'll go work out. I went and worked out today. I hit the gym. I did it all. I rode a bike. I did the elliptical. I lifted weights. But I'm not walking 2 miles. So I get in the Uber, and the guy says to me, who do you like? And I said, I hate both of them. I hope they both lose. I hope they all get the flu. I'm sick and tired of Mahomes. I'm sick and tired. He goes, why? I said, I'm a Steeler fan. And I said to him, are you a Saints fan? He goes, I sure am. And I said, well, do you root for 3 or 4 teams? He goes, what? I go, yeah, do you root for 3 teams, 4 teams? How many teams you root for? He goes, I root for 1 team. I go, so do I. I root for the Steelers. He goes, I root for the Saints. I go, there you go. I said, why would I root for either of these teams? Like, you knew when I came down here this week, I was not going to suck up to these 2 teams and spend my week talking about the Eagles and Chiefs like this was some kind of glory Super Bowl for me. Like, this to me is. So I said to the guy that I've been to 15 Super Bowls, right? I've been to 30 media radio row weeks, and I've been to 15 Super Bowls, and I don't go to games, whether I have a credential or not, or a ticket or not, of teams I hate. I would never go to a game anywhere to watch teams I hate. Not even in the regular season, preseason, anywhere. I don't like either team. I told you, I would rather throw a party with family and friends and enjoy myself and stuff my face and drink heavily than watch this football game. I'm just being honest. Like, is somebody paying me to suck up to these teams this week? Because I'm not on the take. I'm not on the take for the Eagles and the Chiefs. It's not happening. I hate both of them. I grew up in Pittsburgh. Why does Sam Hell would I root for the Philadelphia Eagles or the Flyers or the Phillies? I told you before on the show, I watched Mike Schmidt break my heart 1,000 times. I was there the day he hit his 500th home run. I hate the Phillies. I respect Mike Schmidt, but I hate the Flyers. I hate Tortorella. I hated the Flyers long before that loser came along, and my entire life I've hated them. I told you I hate the Islanders. I try not to ruin your day with it, but like they broke my heart 1,000 times in the postseason. I don't go rooting for the Eagles and Chiefs. I hate both of them.
Still no changes, at least where I am. I got 1.5 and 48.5. I will say there were some places that did go to a flat 1 today off the 1.5 and to a 1, but I think some have either bounced back at this point or are still sitting there. So 1.5 and 48.5.
I'm betting
is where we're
on
at.
your prop bets. I'm betting on.
Well,
let's just now that we've been getting real here on this show today, I'm going to say another thing. I would no more bet on this game than fly a kite. I am betting on your prop bets only. I will bet on every. You said you were going to give me 5 a day. I asked for 10. You shortchanged me. So you're giving me 5 a day. So I'm going to get 25 prop bets, and I'm going to bet on at least 20 of them for Sunday.
I can't do 50. I can't now. I wanted the best 25, and that's what we've done. 5 a day, all week
you know
long.
why? You know why you can't do 50 is because you do 300 golf bets. So you're betting on golf is making you a fortune, and what you are is you're a golf grinder. And what it's done is it's really limited the field for the football betting. For the purposes of football betting, you have limited us because of the fact that we can make. Now listen, we can make more money in golf this week at the Garbage Open, at the Bourbon Street Open, which is what we should call it, the Bourbon Street Open in Phoenix, in Scottsdale. Where is that golf course? In Scottsdale?
Scottsdale, TPC Scottsdale is where they have that. Yes.
Okay, so you make us more money on that game, than the game. More money on the golf in the next 4 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You'll make me more money in that than I could ever dream of making with this crappy Super Bowl.
Let's get to today's.
Do I look like I'm kidding? Like I'm not kidding. I guarantee you'll make me 500 to 1,000 a day in golf, as opposed to betting on 2 teams that I can't stand.
Listen, you know what happens once football ends. It's golf and dingers all the way to September. I mean, that's it. It's
golf and dingers
for me.
And let me ask you this question. Can I ask you a question? You have to admit. I'm just noticing now for myself, like I have to admit, this is so much better with me standing here on this set talking to you than me sitting in that movie chair, in that movie director chair. This is so much better. It's not even funny. Like I feel like I'm close to like Pat Sajak at this point. Like I honestly feel like you know what I mean? Like I feel so free and loose and fantastic to standing up doing the show. There's people behind me cheering. They think it's fantastic. One guy's giving me the finger, but you'll have that. I mean, these things happen.
Let's slide this in, get this in now. Here it is, today's 5 props for Tuesday on the Seat of Integrity. Number 1, under 12.5 players to have a catch in the game. Go look at the Eagles over the last 6 weeks. There's really only 4, sometimes 5 guys who catch a ball. They don't involve a lot of the offense. If it's only 4, you would need what? 9 guys on the Chiefs to go and catch a pass? I'm not having it. Under, plus 128, 12.5 players with a catch. Either team to convert a 4th down in their own territory, minus 114.
Automatic.
The Eagles are going to go for a 4th and 1 at their own 45.
Automatic.
And they're going to get it. We'll take it. We talked about Devonta Smith yesterday. There it is. How about 70 yards receiving, which he's done more than that all 3 times against the Chiefs, at plus 220. For over 70 yards receiving for Smith. Let's go, baby. Patrick Mahomes.
He owns them. Every time he does it, he has 100. Go ahead. Sorry.
Mahomes' longest rush, over 13.5. He gets this every Super Bowl, minus 114. And the big bomb for Tuesday. Jalen Hurts to have an octopus at 21 to 1. What is that? He will score a touchdown and also get a 2-point conversion. All 8 points. The octopus for Jalen Hurts at 21 to 1. Let's go. Octopus on Sunday.
the two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
So, obviously, Carver High back in New York, along with Luke, I am your father, Mafia and I down here on Bourbon Street at the Radio Row, the Convention Center in the French Quarter in Nolens, getting ready for SB 59 on Sunday. Where are we here, Carver High? Because you're the master of ceremonies as usual.
I'm going to start the college basketball, but I know as we were going to break, I was screaming about the octopus, and I wanted to make sure you heard
Love
that.
it.
The 21-1
Love it.
octopus for
yeah.
Hertz. So
I
we
got
will
all
get
of
that involved on Sunday.
Look
There
at
you
it.
go, the big game prop.
Listen, you know what he does? He scores touchdowns, and then he's going to get a 2-point conversion. I mean, it's inevitable. And look at that, 21-1. That is fantastic. I'm going to make that bet. By the time I leave this building today, I'm making that bet.
It's a fun Super Bowl dart throw prop that you can have some fun with. You hope that Hertz gets the 2-pointer if they go for it. All right, college rack tonight. There's tons of huge games that we have to talk about in college basketball. Let's go. How about at the Garden for the Johnnies and Marquette? Big game at the Garden. Luke says, let's go, Johnnies. Vandy visiting Florida tonight. I think that's a lot of wood for that game. You have got Purdue visiting Iowa. Kentucky is at Ole Miss. Notre Dame visiting Florida State. Leonard Hamilton finished after the season. He's going to step down.
Yeah, I can't believe it. But then again, he is 100. Again, as you know, I'm not a fan of coaches over 70 doing anything except working at Walmart. I'll take Florida State in that game tonight. And then I don't know. That's a brutal game, that Kentucky-Ole Miss. Kentucky coming off the loss to Arkansas. I bet they turn it around tonight. I'll take the 5.5. Purdue at Iowa. I like Purdue. Even though the game's in Iowa City, I still like Purdue. I'm not seeing anything from Iowa this year. I think Vanderbilt covers that wood in Gainesville. There's no way they beat them.
12.5
so that's
be
wrong.
That number. Yeah. 12.5. I still like Vandy at 12.5.
I still like them, too. I'll tell you what. I like them, too. They're having a great season. And then for the sake of Luke, I am your father, after I went against him and he didn't speak to me for a week, I will take St. John's tonight at the Garden so I can get back on Luke's good side. I need to be in good, standing with my guy Luke.
Yes. You got to make sure you could be there. Minnesota visits Penn State tonight in Happy Valley, 7.5 for the Nittany Lions. Oklahoma State visits Houston. Now, that one is right. 22 and a hook for Houston there. You have got Georgetown visiting Xavier tonight. Oklahoma and Auburn. I know Auburn's #1 team in the country, but that's a lot of wood. Oklahoma's not a bad team. And Baylor and Texas Tech down there, too, tonight.
Okay, so Baylor had their big win when Kansas melted down, right, in Waco in the second half. Baylor will get whacked tonight in Lubbock by this Texas Tech team. I think they got something really special going, the Red Raiders. I like Oklahoma with a number at Neville. I like Xavier at the Cintas over Georgetown. I think, it's strangely enough, Oklahoma State covered the other day in a game. I almost fell over. But I think Houston beats the snot out of them tonight. I really do at the Fertitta Center. And I'm done with Minnesota on the road. Minnesota only wins and only plays well at the Williams Arena in Minneapolis. They'll lose at University Park. Then again, I just saw didn't Ohio State go there and beat them? I mean, like, Penn State sucks too. So they got to, what are they going to lose every game they play? They got a home game tonight. They got to win it.
Got to win it. Indiana on the road tonight as well. They are at Wisconsin against the Badgers. Georgia Tech visiting Clemson. USC is at Northwestern. Michigan State gets to spend a few days out in Cali. They lost to USC. Now they're playing UCLA tonight. Kansas State visiting Arizona State tonight as well.
Kansas State will beat Arizona State in Tempe. Did you see, Kansas State has been winning just gigantic games and stunning teams of late. I think they've been fantastic. I like Michigan State tonight at Pauley Pavilion. Is that crazy to say? They're coming off a loss. UCLA's been winning. UCLA's at home. You'd think it's automatic at Pauley. Give me the Spartans. I think they get it done. USC at Northwestern. I like the Wildcats at home. I'll tell you what, I think the number's too big at Little John for Clemson. I like the Yellow Jackets. They just won by 7 over the weekend at home, knocking off a good team. Give me the Jackets in 13.5, and I think Wisconsin beats Indiana by more than 9.5 at the Cole in Madtown. I thought the Hoosiers played really well in Mackey and West Lafayette, and they covered, but they still lost. They always lose. Know that. They're going to lose the game. So if you want to just bet the money line, do that.
And I got a couple other late-night ones for you, some good ones as well. How about Bonnie's and Loyola Chicago tonight in the A-10? Really good game, -2.5 for the Ramblers. Arizona visiting BYU. BYU favored by 1.5, and Boise favored in Vegas against UNLV.
Yeah, I like the Rebels. Every time I try to bet against them when they play at the Thomas and Hack, UNLV wins. I'll take the Rebels in 3.5 at home. I am scared to death, but I'll take BYU and Provo laying the 1.5 against Arizona, believe it or not. And I like the Ramblers at home laying the 2.5 in Chicago.
Always love the unranked team, home team favored over the ranked team. That's always one of my favorites. So BYU falls into that category tonight as well. There you go. Yes.
By the way, the win I was talking about with Kansas State, they went to the Hilton Coliseum and won by 19 over Iowa State, and really, I think, propelled Iowa State into this skid they're in of losing 3 straight games. They have fallen on their face all of a sudden. Everybody had them in the Final Four. Now they've hit a bump in the road.
And I know we didn't really get to talk about that, obviously, because of time today, but, man, did they get whacked last night by Kansas. They got whacked in that game. That was a tough scene for the Cyclones.
Again, they keep losing.
3 in a row. All right,
here's
we'll
a couple more, Mike. Couple more real quick. My bad. Just apologies. Utah State. I like Utah State in Laramie. I like Nevada in Colorado Springs against Air Force as well. And there it is. So you tell me what you wanted to say. I just wanted to slip in a couple other ones out west tonight.
No, we're just going to come back and we'll do the hockey and the leftovers tonight. We'll get all tonight's
Everybody loves hockey. That's a good idea.
Yes, everybody does love hockey, so we'll do that.
two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, back at Radio Row in Nolans, Uncle Fuccelli. What would you think if because I got a lot of room out here, Carver High. Like, I could do some skating backwards, and then I could bust off, and I could get out here like this, and then I could, like, if somebody came by that I didn't like, I could just trip them, slew foot. We could get and then I could have somebody coming by, and I give them an elbow to the head, just an elbow shot to the head. There's moves I'm working on here, Carver High, taking the show to a whole new level. We have never done a show standing up. Remember when we did the Fern shows for the, what was it, the Rose Bowl or the soccer? We did the Fern shows.
Oh yeah,
and the lounge chairs. This is a whole new day at SportsGrid, folks. I'm like out here, like, I mean, I might as well put on the hockey skates, Carver High, and start playing over here. Rip a sled. See that chick right there? I could ask her out on a dinner date tonight. I mean, my mobility. I'm on the move. I can make all kinds of moves and cuts. I'm like Q. I'm like Q for the Eagles. I'm in single coverage.
Gotta have it for the single, no doubt about that. The Sens beat Nashville 5-2 last night. The Islanders lost Matt Barzal indefinitely with a lower body injury. He's finished. Let's get to tonight. There's tons of hockey tonight. That's because there was only one game last night. Minnesota in Boston against the Bruins this evening. Columbus is in Buffalo against the Sabres. Ottawa is in Tampa after winning last night. New Jersey is in Pittsburgh against the Penguins. Hockey night at the PPG. And Florida is in D.C. against the Capitals. I know they met. They went to the White House yesterday, the Florida Panthers, for winning the Cup.
Isn't that wonderful? I'll take the Bruins at home tonight at the Garden. I'll take the Sports Jackets and shove it off to Buffalo. Ottawa and Tampa, I'll tell you what. I'm going to go with the upset again. I hit Ottawa last night. I'm going to go back-to-back with the double. I think they're going to win in Tampa at Emily. The Devils are going to win at PPG in Pittsburgh because the Penguins suck. How about the Caps? Get it done tonight against the champs at the Capital One in the District. Give me the Capitals tonight.
Next, Vegas, of course, they're doing the New York area swing. They were at the Garden the other day. They're at the Horse Track tonight against the Islanders. They're favorites on the road. You've got Edmonton and St. Louis. Carolina's in Ferrellipeg. Toronto and Calgary. Philadelphia is in Utah.
Listen, the Islanders have been playing great. I'm going to go Horse Track City tonight with the Islanders. Give me the Islanders at that plus money. How's that sound? I like the Oilers in the Arch City. I like the Jets in Ferrellipeg. That's a good game, though. And, I mean, what kind of odds? I'm getting plus money with the Jets at home. They're tough. And I'm going to take the Flames in plus money at Saddle Dome because I think that, the Leafs are, up and down, a little sporadic for me. Give me the Flames at that plus money. It's like a dog day afternoon here. And then I like Utah at home tonight in the Delta at Salt Lake Shakers to beat the Flyers.
Colorado is in Vancouver, Detroit in Seattle, Dallas is at the Duck Pond, and Montreal is at the Shark Tank tonight against San Jose.
Let's keep up with that rhythm of Canucks plus 118, and then I'm going to go Detroit. They're winning left and right. I love Detroit at plus 102. in Seattle at the Climate Pledge. I like Dallas to rake, puck line them, lay the goal and a half, and Montreal. But that price is too heavy. I don't like it. Give me the Sharks tonight at the tank at plus 140. Wow, we got a damage control here. Frank, we got damage control. Down goes the TV monitor. Down goes the TV monitor. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier.
The Rams will seek a trade for Cooper Kupp. Washington owner Josh Harris says they are not getting rid of the Commander name. Commander name will stay. In Washington.
Commander name is permanent. It's permanent. There you go. An NBA gambling ring tied to Porter and Terry Rozier cases. That case is also being tied to college basketball games now. It's spreading like the flu in the Northeast, Carver High. Michael Jordan's son Marcus arrested for cocaine possession, resisting arrest, and DUI. Having a bad day. A driver led astray by a GPS and wins. He ends up at the bottom of a ski trail in Colorado. Your boy, he followed a GPS off a cliff right down the canyon. What could be worse? Girl in the lobby of her New York City apartment building. Can the elderly go down to get their mail and put a load in the laundry without being stabbed in the apartment building in New York City? No. Great job today, Carver High from New York. Luke as well, Mafia here in New Orleans. I'm Ferrall. We'll see you again tomorrow from Radio Row off Bourbon Street.
Both Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson had huge nights. Aaron Rodgers loves the two big targets, and he says if this is going to happen, going to be very tough on the defense to decide who they want to go after.
Adams and this kid, Wilson, I won't deny what they can do, but nobody else does jack.
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Are they definitely done with Daniel Jones from this point? And any shot that Dable is off the sidelines, meaning he gets fired before next season?
They have a general manager in Joe Shane. Every big move has to get approval by ownership. So look, the bottom line is they don't know who their future quarterback is past this season. Tommy DeVito's clearly not the answer. They don't have a Drew Lock's not the answer.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Grandma Bear, who owns the football team, probably comes in, gives a little, oh, hey, you're such a good little boy out there. Congratulations, the way you coach this football team. I'm never going to fire you.
Totally, I missed you. Pinching your own cheek? As I was looking down and did not know we were getting...
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there with that guy named Ben. Like, that's what your grandma would do to you when you go see her on Thanksgiving or Christmas,
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.